Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our commission meeting. This is our first one of March, which we will be meeting every week because this is budget month. And I know Ruth and G are so thrilled about that. So as we continue throughout, we just want to think about our people who have been out there, our first responders. They've done a really good job. Fire department's really helped out. Greg's doing some things with that, along with our police, force has been out. The ambulance workers, guys that get out and clear the roads of all the accidents. I mean, we really appreciate you as a county and like to thank you for your service and what you do, especially the 911 operators. They're there regardless of what time of day it is and any holiday or anything else going on. So I just think it's time that those guys were recognized for what exactly they do. So we really appreciate it. So we'll get the meeting started now with Pledge of Allegiance and why don't you lead us in pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, Chris. All right, assessor's office. No one's here. Okay. Vouchers and invoices.
I think there are any this week.
Okay. Need to pay our people. So commissioners.
Motion to approve payroll for 3/7.
Second.
Got a motion to second on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye. And I did finish the minutes, so I move that now, we don't have the emergency meeting minutes on the agenda though.
No, we can do that last one next time.
No,
Okay,
227's on.
it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind, 2 of the meetings were on the 19th, that's what threw me off,
Yeah.
okay. So I move that we approve the meeting minutes for the 2 meetings on 2/19 and the emergency meeting on 2/27.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve the state settlements.
Second. Got a motion to second on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Miss Ruth.
So the first thing is that reallocation request from Canal Falls, and we did get a letter from the board.
Okay.
And y'all were just waiting on that.
Okay, and I can't remember what the reallocation was for. It was for something that they wanted to something they needed, is what I remember. So, I'm gonna go ahead and move we approve it.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. It's been properly moved in second. All those in favor?
I haven't seen that letter.
Yeah, it was just a short, sweet letter.
It just says reallocate as requested. That's what they said. It don't tell you what it's for.
It was just.
All right, so let's see what letter it is. This one is.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
I move we approve the letter.
And
Ben
Yeah.
Hayes,
can you go ahead and read that letter, please?
thanking him for his service. Fayette County Commission expresses its sincerest gratitude to you for your decades of service as a member and longtime chairman of the New Haven Public Service District. It's been our pleasure to have worked with you, and we emphasize our appreciation for your time and dedication to the citizens of Fayette County.
I'll second. I want to, we'll have a motion properly moved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Hayes has been there for, I want to say at least 40 years. And he was one of the first pioneers of trying to get water out to people. So he has done an excellent job. I hate to see him go, but I'm happy that he's getting a chance to retire.
All right, so the next one is resolution number 12 for the PSC of Power and Water project.
Leslie's not on.
So this is the one you guys like approved for them to get an extension to finish out the paperwork, and this is part of that. So it all has to be spent by June 30. I think a lot of it's already spent. Now it's just like filling the paperwork and all the paperwork.
It
Well,
has been.
when they're identified by number, it's harder for me to know if I've seen it before or not.
Right.
Okay, well, in that case, I'll go ahead and move that we the Community Development Block Grant Request Resolution number 12.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, properly moved second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And that's also the one, like, that's why we have to revise our grants by like over $1 million, I think.
Yeah.
And then the next one is the Fayette Trail Coalition update and support letter. And Brittany and Cassandra. Yeah, that's where I go. You guys take that too.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Cassandra Cassie Austin with Region 4 Planning and Development Council. You all know Leslie very well. She does most of our work in Fayette County. Just here to give you a quick update on the Fayette County Bike Trails project. Project has a really long history, but it's been a while since we've been before you. So I kind of have laid out just a high-level review of the project from its beginning to where it is now. So I'd kind of like to go through that with you just to kind of refresh everyone's memory as to how this project has developed.
Can you do something for me real quick?
Yes.
I didn't know someone was at Region 4 doing this kind of thing. Can you tell me what the scope of your job is? Because I've been here 4 years and this is the first time.
Yeah, so primarily, what I do is, Leslie, I specialize in water sewer infrastructure projects. But as tourism has become more important to our region, we do a lot of construction management. So we're able to take those skills and translate them to a variety of projects. So we have a couple of bike trail projects. We also are working on the Monday Lake Trail project, which supports the Snowshoe Highland Ride Center. That's probably the other most notable trail project that we're working on right now.
Great.
I also have John Tuggle coming in April to give us an idea of everything that Region 4 is doing, because they've added a lot of stuff to
It sounds like
their project, so.
Yeah, we've branched out. So the project, the original title of the project was the Southern West Virginia Bike Trail Network, linking trails and communities to spawn economic growth. The original partners included the Appalachian Regional Commission, who is funding in part the project, the West Virginia Department of Highways, and the New River Trail Alliance. The project originally received funding from ARC in 2017, with the Department of Highways serving as the basic agency. Anytime the Appalachian Regional Commission funds a construction project, they require the recipient of those funds to partner with another state or federal agency to actually oversee the construction of a project. So because this was a federal project, at that time, the only available partner was the Department of Highways. The original scope of the project was to develop connector trails that would link existing trails to one another, along with the use of existing West Virginia DOH roads via wayfinding, signage, that sort of thing. And the whole thought was this would promote linkages across communities spanning a 3-county area, which at the time included Fayette, Nicholas, and Greenbrier counties. This proved extremely difficult to fit within the program that the DOH was trying to run the project through, which is their Transportation Alternatives Project. Some of that was due to the property purchasing requirements, their engineering requirements, and they also had concern with promoting bicycle usage on DOH roads. So after about 3 years of scoping discussions, the project team landed on a scope to do a paved rail trail from the local store down to about Glen Jean. But just a year later, the matching funds that the DOH was providing at this time, DOH had committed the entirety of the cash match to the project. Those funds were reallocated very unexpectedly. So that just kind of left the project in limbo. And it also didn't really make sense any longer to use the DOH as the basic agency. So by that time, we're talking like 3-4 years later, West Virginia Development Office had started providing basic agency services for these types of projects. At the time it was funded, they did not provide that service for this type of project. So they said, yes, we would be agreeable to, acting as basic agency if you could fund the matching funds. But they really preferred that to come in the form of cash match. Then ARPA funds became a thing, and also congressionally directed spending requests. So the New River Gorge Regional Development Authority received about $1.5 million on behalf of the National Park Service in the form of a congressionally directed spending request, what we call earmarks. And we saw the opportunity to partner that project with this project. The commission agreed to sponsor the cash match necessary for the ARC funds, and Oak Hill also pitched in $50,000. And that provided an opportunity to take, 2 small projects and really expand that scope to do a much greater, more impactful project. And so because the scope did change very significantly from the original ARC application, we did have to completely recompile the application for ARC. And we're still waiting on that approval. It was submitted to them in December, and we're just waiting for their feedback. John will actually be at an ARC conference in DC beginning Sunday. So if we don't hear back before then, I'm hoping maybe he can have some conversations while he's there. Just to try to keep the ball rolling, get some momentum. We are talking about going ahead and procuring engineering services for the project. And actually hope to maybe get that advertisement out to the paper this month. Once we have an engineer on board, we'll be a little better suited to give you a time frame on construction. We do know that the commission's allocation to this project is ARPA in nature, and that it does have to be spent, I think, by like the end of 2026. So we are very thoughtful of that, and we've been very thoughtful in that in the way that it is budgeted into the project. First page is a more condensed budget. And then if you look at the second page, it's broken down in much more detail. We only have the commission budgeted into one small piece of construction that is for a bridge. But if we find that the project is falling behind, we'll find some other way to look at those funds.
One of the big concerns that I have every time we get involved in a trail project is maintenance. And we're lucky to have the active trail coalition we have, but bridges are another matter altogether. So as you go along, make sure that if you would, there is a maintenance plan involved, because we have that on the Meadow River Trail too.
Okay.
And Fayette County government cannot afford to maintain bridges. So we'll have to have some plans in place about how we're gonna do that.
Yeah, it is a difficulty we see all across the region in implementing these types of projects, the sustainability afterwards, but you are so fortunate to have such a strong trail coalition.
I mean, if they were bridge experts, that'd be great, but they have their hands full. And also, I know that the Boy Scouts have been helping with some of the projects, our trail projects now, and just keep them in mind, because the director has committed to providing Boy Scouts to help with our trail maintenance in the county and not just in the national park.
That's great. It's a great resource. And I don't know that there's a really great answer for long-term sustainability. I think it's still something we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, but I mean, as we choose which trail to fund, we need to keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
Because the more bridges we have, the less likely we're going to be able to.
You understand the concern very much, so be thoughtful of that. That's all I have. Unless you have any questions for me. All right.
No, I'm good.
So, see, you got nervous yesterday over nothing.
No.
Were you nervous?
It's not often that I come before the Fayette County Commission, and I just wasn't sure what you would be most interested in as far as like an update on the project goes. So I just kind of wanted to get a feel if the history was the most appropriate thing to share, or more details about the scope, or I just wasn't really 100% sure what you were.
I thought you did a really good job.
Yes, thanks.
I feel very well
Really well
informed.
spoken.
Yes,
Thank you.
she did a great job.
Can I help you with that just a little bit? In the near future, don't be concerned with what we think, be concerned with what people of Fayette County think, because that's who we're serving. Fayette County and beyond, we're outside of our state and everything. That's who you're gonna, if you've got a good plan for the people, you've got friends here.
And on a practical front, you can always ask Ruth if you have concerns about what scope we might want, because she'll probably have a good idea, and if she doesn't, she'll find out for you.
Or you can still buzz me. I don't care.
And I hope to see you all.
That too, I mean, you can always.
Sure, you're welcome anytime.
All right.
Cassie's great. Okay, I'm Brittany Chamber. I'm here on behalf of the Fayette Trail Coalition. Thank you for having us in the midst of your budget month. I realize this is probably not your top priority, but we did want to provide you with an update. The Fayette Trail Coalition is a local nonprofit that works on development and maintaining trails throughout Fayette County and the New River Gorge region. In 2023, we began our first volunteer trail day at Fayette County Park, where we had over 30 people show up to that very first trail day. So I feel like that really demonstrated the interest of our community in improving the infrastructure at Fayette County Park was something that we could help maintain in the future. And we have thought about that, excuse me. So since 2023, we've started hosting volunteer trail days at Fayette County Park again. And I'm going to give you guys this map to sort of illustrate what we're working on. So this is in addition to the trails that the ARC funds would construct. We're working on a 2.5 to maybe 3 mile loop. That would be beginner friendly, family friendly. We want this trail to be accessible to all ability levels, whether that's for someone riding a bike or just going out there to hike or run. So we really believe this has the potential to transform Fayette County Park, and it's when trails are built really well in a sustainable manner, they're easily maintained, and that's something that we hope to provide in the future. So we hope to apply for some grant funding for this, which is why I'm here to ask for letters of support to the AARP Community Challenge Grant and Cole Heritage. And so we're really just here to ask for that, but to also provide you with an update on our efforts. We remain in contact with Brian Good. He and his staff are super friendly and welcoming every time we're down there. And we've also provided an update to the park board as well, just so that they know what's going on. This trail does sort of intersect around the disc golf course, but we want to make sure that that doesn't interrupt their activities as well. We see that this is kind of like a joint effort and something that all folks could enjoy while they're at the park.
It is, and I appreciate that you did that, because my first question was gonna, I assumed Brian had already read this and everything,
Yeah.
because he's here, but, and he's here regularly
Yeah,
too.
so on that map, the space that's blank is what I call the Girl Scout property. And then the trail would be over where I call it park proper, where it sort of like follows the wood line around the pavilions and the ponds. So it is separate from the ARC funding for those trails.
Well, let me, for the people at home, people that are listening here, and just clarify what you may have been talking about. The 4-H park, Fayette County Park, is an important part of our county. I mean, I grew up down there, Brian, and you're doing a fabulous job down there. We were down there the other day with Mr. Murphy. We walked around the Girl Scout Park. It's beautiful.
Okay,
It's beautiful property, and it is owned by the people of Fayette County. And you're proposing to put trails in that people can enjoy the trail and to bike, hike,
Hike, run, whatever you want
walk
to do.
through the walk and enjoy what they already own. How do you propose to pay for it?
With the grant funding. So the ARC funding will build the trails on the Girl Scout property. And then right now volunteers are working on that 2.5 mile loop, but we do want to apply for those 2 grants, the AARP Community Challenge Grant and Cole Heritage funding, to help with some of the steeper sections that would take volunteers much longer to build.
Let's to clarify to people of Fayette County, we're not just using tax dollars.
I see why you're asking that.
And that we're not just going out and spending their money to put a trail in.
No, we want to help you guys. We realize that, there is limited funding for this kind of thing, and
However, they're going to enjoy it. They're going to be able to enjoy it with maximizing our efforts.
sure.
And from what I can understand, and I'm a new commissioner, and this commission did a great job in the past, but what I can understand, we have to find good people like yourself and like you to help us help our people. And that's what we're interested in.
And I agree with the maintenance plan and making sure that we consider that as well.
That's what you have to take care of in the future, because you either, when you build it starts deteriorating as soon as you build it. And you have to have maintenance.
Well, I'd like to not only move that we approve the two proposed, but also any further support letters that Ruth had the discretion to go ahead and issue those in support of this project.
I'll second. We have a motion probably moved second. All those in favor? Aye.
That way you don't have to come back.
Well, thanks, not making.
This is. Maybe
Yeah.
I do this, but this is her.
And
Is that good or bad?
Good. That's very good.
Well,
'cause I
thank
usually
you.
find something.
just watch our counselor, Michael, he says, yeah, that's real good.
I get there too. Everybody's a victim.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
We need to, can we move the budget discussion down to the down toward later? Yeah, let's go ahead and finish up with these last two. Please.
The one I think y'all wanted to discuss in the executive session,
Put that off.
so postpone to the end of the meeting, but. The other one, I don't have that. photo.
Okay.
Anthony was supposed to draft it.
Okay, but he is referring that to Michael, I think. So
Is this the,
record rotation stuff, wasn't that, did he refer that to you? What did he? refer?
No,
the storm drain?
the journey
Oh, okay, it wasn't record rotation, no, and Anthony's in court.
until probably next week, from what I understand.
Okay,
You want to approve it in concept?
yeah, and I might draft it myself. I mean, and get it out, so. What we failed to approve, we had emergency meeting temporarily suspending Mr. Manley from the, record rotation or A&E tow rotation, more specifically based on Mr. Manley's, alleged actions. And, we failed to, move to issue a letter to him to that effect. So I'm gonna move that we send a letter to A&E Towing and Mr. Manley about the decision we made at the 227 emergency meeting with regard to his conduct.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion properly moved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Demolition bid award.
Okay.
And
And what?
This is a continuation. We had the bid opening for the houses at the last season. I went through the checklist that I give them to submit with their bid, and the low bidder was missing 3. That goes to an email to
Yes.
you guys. So since they're missing them, I'm requesting that the second bidder receive it.
Which bidder was that?
That would be Empire Salvage. Their bid was $80,000.
That would be the one that did submit the.
Yeah, they have, yeah, I give them a checklist of things that's
Yeah.
been submitted. The other one did not submit a bid bond. Even though they had done work with us.
They probably assumed we had it, but we can't.
Well, and I
Can't
did
change the rules.
give that, when they came in to submit another bid, I did say, you have, I mean, I go through it
Every
every
time
pre
you got
bid
to it.
opening, I tell them. You have to have everything, so it doesn't matter if we've done it, because if I'm not here, someone else may, so, I mean, I did it, and the bid bond, I mean, that's important because. That
Yeah.
protects, so. but
It's
they-
important they have a complete submission.
Yeah, so and I made it kind of black and white on what they need, so they unfortunately didn't have it at this bid, so I'm requesting that we award Empire Salvage the 80,000 since they was the second bidder.
I'll go move that we approve that.
I second them.
Okay, we have a motion properly moved in second on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Took care of that. Future meetings are every Wednesday this month.
You want to go ahead and do, because we have bid openings for 3 different projects.
We got 4 minutes.
Or, yeah, I don't know.
I guess we got done faster than I
About the
thought.
do we need cybersecurity grant?
So I
Squeeze that in?
think is, the lighter guys on Zoom or will be, how long will it take, you know?
Can you do it in 3
What's his
minutes?
name?
Okay.
Mike,
Mm-mm, he's not on there.
okay, no.
We'll have to wait. We'll take 5 minutes. Recess.
Oh.
Good, yeah. You could just get a 5 minute
We could rent.
hiatus.
Do you
Oh,
guys-
Amy could print those letters in there.
I have to go find Greenbrier Environmental.
Okay, and Amy,
You got that?
at this time, we're gonna take a 5 minute recess because we can't get anything else done in 5 minutes. Because we have bid openings at 9:30. And we need
Everything has to be done at the time we said.
Yeah. All right. All right, good morning and welcome back to our meeting. We took a little recess. Since we were going quickly this morning. So Amy, we have 3 bid openings.
You have 2 from me and then the other one is Angela's. So they're right over there.
Okay.
No, no, I'm just in the grant writing business.
Yeah,
Funding
they
these
are
projects.
very well organized.
Yeah.
Our first one should be the tile grant
Well,
tile.
we decided we're only gonna submit 1 tabulation sheet for
I just put extras in
the
there.
3 of us. Okay. So
Do you have the
So-
tile or do you have the,
Oh, tiles will be number 2. Okay.
this is, okay, so the first one is from Nader Nicola's Masonry in Fairmont. Let me write that down.
First,
This is the front porch restoration.
yeah. This is for the front porch of the memorial building. And all of these contractors, it was a mandatory pre-bid to show in order to bid on these projects.
Okay, Court Street Construction. I believe that's here in Fayetteville.
Yep.
ARS Inc. Doesn't say where that one's out of. Keystone out of Latrobe, PA. And New River Contracting LLC out of Oak Hill. Are the bidders.
Go ahead, Greg. Let's open up our bids.
All right.
Then we'll reveal. Okay.
Let's go in order. Good. Did you open?
Tell the one that you,
And I opened Nicola. Masonry.
What's the bid amount?
Did she?
I don't have it. That's it, the last one. There's no big fee in here. They did nothing. No, wait.
There it is.
There. All right, Nicola bid the sum of $85,400.
Court Street.
that's you. Want that one also?
We can skip that one, go to John's. ARS, is that the one you have?
Yes, they are 55,800.
No.
No.
Who owns it?
Right.
Red spot.
Who?
Right.
Oh, I know, yeah, I know. Well, I saw somebody I knew as a reference and I was like,
We'll go back to the Court Street.
yeah.
All right, we go back to Court Street, they That's a, 200 West Maple Avenue in Fayetteville, West Virginia. They bid $45,000.
Keystone is 53,500.
And New River is 25,549.01.
Can you say that again?
25,549.01.
Okay, these bids are gonna be looked at by
The price is right.
by our
I
construction,
couldn't help it. It is the lowest here.
all of the bids will be looked at by Dan Newton. And then we'll go from there to make sure they have everything they're supposed to have. So if you can put it back in their envelopes, it will be wonderful. Next will be the courthouse tile repair job.
Two bidders here. Nader Nicola, Masonry and Keystone.
Ready?
Go ahead.
All right, Nader Nicola's masonry bid $71,900.
Keystone was 85,500.
I'm sorry, I was misspoken. It is $81,900. Correct the minutes to 81,900. I'm sorry.
John, will you
Sorry,
say yours again?
I got it.
Yeah, you got your glasses on.
I got it.
Will you say yours again? Will you
Messed up my
repeat your total?
85,500.
5?
Yeah, because I don't want anybody to question it.
Oh.
For the jail demo, REAP grant, right, Angela?
Yes.
Okay, bids. Reclaim out of Fairmont. Tom's tear down and take away out of Charleston. And Empire Salvage. That Princeton.
Okay, Tom's tear down and take away is 125,000.
All right, Reclaim Company LLC is $228,800.
Fire salary, just still be an opening, rack like classic. We doubled zero on classified. Do we give them a form to fill out? Or anything that would simplify?
Yes, all of the receipt form. I think it's the next one. You flipped it.
That is. It's not in order.
Yeah.
Sorry. You were.
Okay. Empire's bid is $82,884.58.
All right. Again, all of these bids will be looked at by Dan Newton and determination will go from there. Correct, Amy?
Yes, that's Angela's on that one.
Yeah,
We did the REAP a little early.
That's okay. You have a disclaimer at the top that says you can.
Yeah.
discuss.
Okay. Sweet.
All right, so let's go ahead and skip to the cybersecurity grant.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, he's got to zoom in. He might not be.
Remember to do that executive session on it,
You can do that.
number 5 if you want.
Okay.
To knock that out.
All right, at this time, we'll move to go into executive session. It is,
Let's say the reason.
oh,
Mm.
go ahead.
The reason is to discuss an appraisal on a, and possible purchase offer on a piece of property that the commission is looking at. So AKA contract negotiations.
And right now it's 9:43. And we'll return as soon as possible.
You just completely mommed him with that.
All right, folks, we just come back out of an executive session and I'll turn it over to Commissioner Taylor.
All right, we did give our lawyers some instructions, which is permissible during executive session. One of the things that we'd like to do, we're gonna make a bid on the property, and that thing we don't have to release until or unless we decide to purchase the property. However, I would like to move that we release the appraisal of the property to the property owner at the time our lawyer extends the bid.
Is that your motion?
I second the motion.
Here we have properly moved motion and second on the floor. All those in favor?
And is there anything else, Michael, that I need to raise?
Well, I would move to authorize me to enter into negotiations based upon the values discussed.
Okay, so moved.
A second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. Fayette County Humane Society budget presentation. I'll leave for a minute and I can't talk. Morning, Fallon.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
So I'm gonna go over a couple of our stats for last year.
Who else is with you?
Josh, one of our board members.
Okay.
So for adoptions last year, we had 286 adoptions. We had 45 reclaims. In that it was $9,165.18. That was both adoptions and reclaims. So our expenses in that.
Just 1 second. Of those reclaims per our MOU, Was any of that money forwarded to the county?
It's not, I'm waiting on the MOU to come back to be approved.
The one, the MOU that we're operating on currently?
No, it was not.
And how much was that amount?
$9,165.18.
Okay.
Our expenses for the year, which include vet bills, vaccines, anything we need during the month, office supplies, that came out to $49,671.14.
Okay, so that's for all your supplies or just
Yes.
medical supplies?
That's for all of our supplies.
Okay.
And vet bills. So for our donations, we made $40,935.23.
Okay.
And then we had 306 animals, that's dogs and cats included, go to rescue.
And recently, have you taken anything to rescue?
Yes,
How recent?
Monday,
Okay, good. Taking dogs or cats or both?
cats, 16 cats went to rescue.
Okay, cool. How many cats do you have right now?
5, sorry, one came in yesterday.
5 cats.
Mhm.
And no, I'm not gonna call it the cat house, okay? I'm always the one that makes that mistake. Okay, and current dogs population?
We have about 121 dogs.
All right, I'm sorry, go ahead. As things pop in my head, I'm gonna ask.
Oh, it's okay. So I'm gonna move on to the budget. For our salary and our wages, we're asking for $202,640.36.
202, what's the rest?
640.36.
Okay, and first, I apologize for still interrupting, but that's just straight salary. That's no bonuses, no vacation, no nothing.
Correct.
Okay.
That is all I have. That's what we're asking for. Do you guys have any questions?
Okay, so you're just asking for the 202-640-36.
I am, yes.
I just have a request.
Mhm.
I would love to find out about what's happening at the shelter other than through the press. Because I don't know you have a problem, and I know my colleagues don't because I've texted them. We don't know you have a problem unless you tell us. And
Right.
the easy way to tell us is through Ruth and report that stuff, but when your water was out, for example, we control that building. That's something we need to be involved in because we
Right.
can get that fixed for you. You
Right.
know, when you're, at capacity, you have a problem that we might be able to help with. I would like to know that, what's going on. Or if you're talking to people about budget problems, talk to the people who are providing you money first, before you go to the press. And not that I have a problem with the press being involved, because I know the press is a very important tool for a lot of reasons, certainly to get you volunteers and adoptions in there. I've liked some of your events. I was really impressed with some of the things that you've done so far, and I realize that you're kind of strapped when it comes to doing the bigger events.
Right.
But some of your adoption events and things like that, I've seen you a lot more active in the last probably year and a half than in the past. And so I think you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
I think there are things that we need to work on as far as helping you all understand the role the board has versus the role you as the director of the Humane Society has, to make sure those things are ironed out and there's no ambiguity there. They're two separate things. You are like the Ruth, the Humane Society, and we are the board.
Right.
Like that's how it should work. There shouldn't be any gray area in between, but and we are Ruth and I have talked at length about having meetings with you guys and commissioners, about having some meetings, try to help you guys work that out. I know John has attended some of your meetings. And you were recently involved in all this, weren't you, Greg? So anyway, we want to help you succeed. And we've got a few things we need, but one of the things we need too is like for you to come to us right away when there's something going on.
Okay.
So we, if we're in a position to help, that we're able to help without you telling us we don't know.
Right.
We won't be able to.
What, and I want to expand on what Commissioner Taylor said. For the people, we're not looking to be, secretive about this. We're asking you not to be transparent with the, outlets that maybe have been used in the past. What we're saying is be more transparent, to be more, open about what happens, how it happens, why it's happening, and be open with us. And we're going to work together. This is not how, we can't solve things without proper knowledge, without good information, and then we can solve problems that we have for our county. Our animal shelter is not, forgive me if I'm wrong, but our animal shelter is not directly operated by the county commission. However, we have a great say. You're a 5013C organization, is that correct?
Yes.
You are basically another entity that takes care. We just fund you. We help fund you, and which is law that we have to fund an animal shelter. However, it doesn't say it has to be you or another group. It just says we have to find a nonprofit. And that's what we're looking for from your organization. We want leadership from you. And you're on the direct, you've taken on the role. And we're going to help you assume leadership. You're going to direct. Okay? And then you're going to be transparent with us, and we're all going to live together well.
And to be clear, I'm not saying don't go to the press, but I'm just saying, if you want help fixing the problem, come to us first.
That's correct.
You can get, I don't want to control what you tell the press.
At all.
The one now?
I said no disrespect with me at all. It
No,
wasn't-
no.
No,
We're
I
not.
understand that. I
That's
want
not
you
what
to
we're
know
saying.
that we are receptive
Right.
to helping and everything. And so if you just let the county administrator know if there's something there might be something we can do and you don't know, until you tell us. But I mean, I don't want you to think you can't go to the press about any problem you have, because you can't. I mean, I'm just saying, also come to us because we own the building, so if something's wrong with the building, I'd like to know something's wrong with the building so we can try to fix it for you.
And what we're saying, this is a very important thing to us. Our animals in our county are very important. We want it to run as smoothly as possible. Your success is our success, and our success is the county's success. You realize how that builds. And it all has to start with communication with us, and then we can allow the public to know what's being done, how it's being done, how their funds are being spent. They're entitled to know this. The people of Fayette County are entitled. And we bear that responsibility, and yet you do too. So we want to work together. We think, and I've had a good meeting with your director or your president of your organization. I think he's going to be able to do it, and you guys will be able to do a great job. But we may modify a few things, not change, modify, and you will be more successful. We will enjoy the benefits, and the benefits is our reward, and for the animals.
And we're going to look in detail at the MOU.
Okay.
And we'll probably have some questions coming off of that. So we will more than likely invite you back.
Okay.
And we may even do it later one evening so that all the board members can attend. Because there's going to be a lot of things that we want to get worked out.
Don't believe change is always bad. Change is not bad. Change can be good. And an old supervisor told me if one person has a problem and you keep it to yourself, one person has a problem. If you tell 10 people, now 11 people have a problem. And when you tell us, then we will work with you. And we're not saying that problems never exist, some they do. But we have to overcome them. And that's our goal, to overcome the problems, not avoid problems. They'll come. We expect it. It's okay.
I'd like to shout out to our maintenance staff who did finally resolve that water problem. They were on a ladder in a creek in freezing cold temperatures trying to fix that pipe. So, I mean, I know it took a little bit. It probably felt like the end of the world to you guys during that time. That would have been horrible, but they really were out there taking serious risks to try to get it fixed and troubleshoot it for you. So,
Yeah, they true.
I mean, be sure to stay in touch with Sonny about things like that because he can be a resource. he might have been able to help you avoid having a problem in the first place,
Right.
you know?
And then we were able to get you water from up at the park too.
Yes.
So you guys were able to take your jugs and stuff up there and get them filled up.
Yeah.
So that's what I said, we're here to help you in the way that we can.
We're here for you to succeed.
Okay. All right, so we'll get some things together and we'll talk to you about a meeting.
Okay.
And it'll be a night meeting so that we can get everyone there.
Okay.
It'll be a special meeting, Commissioner.
Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, Ruth, did you have something to say?
What?
I'm just waiting on you all.
Okay. All right,
Best meeting ever.
cybersecurity grant.
No.
Is everybody online for that now?
Is Mike on there yet?
No, there's no mic though.
You got 15 minutes.
Okay.
And if you looked at your budget stuff, you can tell me what you want me to do with it.
Budgeting.
I mean, that's what I'd like to do something with it.
Him right now, he said he can jump on.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, good. All right. Two guys.
You don't play county working.
Okay, so who's going to be doing the presentation? Both of you? Come on up. Philip. Philip, you always like to sit in the back and not say anything, so.
Well, speaking of shout outs, I want to thank you guys for all your hard work during all this crazy weather we've been having. I know you haven't only been doing your jobs, but you've been filling in for other people.
Yeah, it's
been
crazy.
I said, I think we've got more to come too, it's supposed to snow a little bit tonight.
That sounds like it, but I've been really impressed.
I'm gonna get it introduced, just so you have a copy. Here's your copy. I think I'm done with that.
Is that the one that we already have?
Mhm.
Oh, you do already have, okay. I mean,
We didn't have the overview. We have lighters proposal.
Philip, are you going to talk?
It's on yet.
Sit back.
He's gonna hurt, he's trying to answer that, he's talking to you.
Why don't you guys go ahead and get started while we wait for him to sign on, just summarize for this meeting.
Well, what you're looking at here, but is basically, the lighter proposal is the equipment. And for, from the grant, if we were awarded, is a reimbursement grant. So basically, we have to pay for it, but then they immediately cover us back, so. But what they've given us here is all the equipment that would be submitted on the grant. And so far, they've had a really good success rate with other counties with this. And so, I mean.
Who's the grant provider? Remember?
Homeland Security.
Yeah,
Okay,
It
he's
is
state or the feds?
federal.
I think he's on there. Mike, are you online?
I'm here. I am, yeah.
Philip, are you familiar with all this software?
some of it, Mike will have to go into a little bit of that, but a lot of it, yes, I am familiar how it works. Mike can give you the details if you have any questions.
On these recurring, so the grant, I'm guessing, is gonna cover the purchase, but we're probably gonna have some ongoing fees, right?
Well, we are.
Well, I can, oh, sorry, Philip. I can talk about that a little bit if you guys don't mind. Basically, for what a lot of the other counties that we've done, out of everything that we've put forward, including like the whole annual, the recurring fees that you guys just mentioned there on a little bit ago, they are covered under the grant. We've had where we've submitted our annual costs, if you will, maintenance and support fees that you guys are currently already paying monthly to us. We've had that approved 100% for a whole year on each grant that we've submitted through with that line item on there. Obviously, I am not the grant writer. I am not the grant approver. We work close with Samantha Stapleton at state level, to make sure what we're putting on there is appropriate and all that good stuff. But on average, what we're seeing is anything from 80 to 100% of what we've asked for being approved. And The 80% county was because they don't cover things like replacement desktop PCs. They just don't class that as a cybersecurity issue at the moment because Windows 10 is not end of life yet, so they don't approve that. But everything that you're looking at on that piece of paper for consideration has been previously approved for other counties, if that helps.
So in the county you just referred to, bless you, in the county you just referred to do we have, well, I should have said that. Do we have PCs that are already sufficiently upgraded to handle the software, or are we going to need to make upgrades in addition?
Well, where you currently are on your current hardware, it's coming end of life this year, at the end of this year. Typically, especially on servers like what the 911 center are using, we tend to give it a 5 to 6 year life cycle, so that, and especially where we are at the moment with technology coming into the US, is it's taking suppliers around 100 days, give or take, to get actual parts in. So that's kind of why we go for a 5 year life cycle of, okay, we know it's coming towards the end of its life, let's be proactive and replace it. So Fayette County 911 kind of approaching that 5 year mark later this year. That was another reason why I wanted to get this, on paper for you guys for consideration, and then get the ball rolling on the grant side of it, so that we know what's going to get approved and what is not, if that helps.
I think I understand it better now. So our equipment could be upgraded as a result of this grant where it's almost out of service.
Correct, all of it, 100% of the equipment, and I'm talking for service for CAD and network for CAD and virtualization. You will get a 100% turnkey, that's keyword, there's no extra cost, it's turnkey at those prices, turnkey product, an update of all of that hardware that's going end of life there.
But the grant would cover only 1 year of the subscriptions, and we would need to cover further subscriptions. Is that right?
Correct. That is correct. But now, this is for fiscal year 23, what they're currently going through. Every year, at least as things stand right now, obviously there's some changes going on at federal level, but as it stands right now, the money for this grant you are looking at is in state already. The next cycle will be 24. And for example, we're currently around 6 million for the 23 grant, that cycle that is available to counties in the state. And then I'm told in 24, or for 24 cycle, it should be even more. So on the back of that, you are currently paying our maintenance and support fees monthly out of the 911 fund, or wherever it comes from. So what we would want to do is, when the next cycle comes up for 24, we would apply again for our services, i.e. the cybersecurity services that you buy through us, the anti-ransomware software, our maintenance and support on this hardware and devices, and the SaaS services for backup of data, because that's one of the key areas around this whole grant. It's cybersecurity focused, and if there is a ransomware attack against Fayette County, how do we, not pay the ransom essentially? And we've got SaaS services on there which do all of the backups into the cloud, encrypted, a word in there called immutable, which means it can't be touched for a given amount of time. So this is, and I said to Philip and Tonya about it, we're submitting for Rolls-Royce on this grant because that's what they expect to see, if that makes sense. And that's what we've put through in several other counties around you guys, including Raleigh. We're just working on Greenbriers at the moment. So yeah, it's a good opportunity to get refreshed hardware because to protect against ongoing cybersecurity threats as well as.
So has this grant been funded since the new presidential administration has been in place?
Can you ask that question again? Sorry, you broke up a little bit then. I'm sorry.
The new administration has, President Trump has cut a lot of grant funding to
Mhm,
states
yep.
and local programs, and I'm wondering if you have seen any evidence of cuts in this particular program since he became
Not
president.
yet, no, but I'm going to say not yet. Now, obviously, cybersecurity doesn't appear to be on his hit list of looking at federal grants and making some cuts there. But the grant that we are applying for of 23, when I've spoke to Homeland Security down in Charleston, Samantha Stapleton, the money for this particular grant that we're looking at is already in the state, so it's available.
Mike, it's Commissioner Fayette. Can you tell us for the people of Fayette County who you are again? State your name and what you actually do, who you work for.
Yeah, my name's Mike Walker, and I'm a co-owner of Lighter IT Services. We provide managed services for the 911 centers across the state of West Virginia that work with us, including your good selves there in Fayette County. And we provide services from anything from desktop computers all the way through to cloud computing. And around that, we've obviously built a cybersecurity suite or product, if you will, which Fayette County are using in the 911 center to protect their assets against ransomware, so on and so forth. So we are an MSP, which stands for Managed Service Provider. And we're in the back room, if you will, we're the nitty gritty of keeping the network running, keeping those servers running, and keeping everything on 24/7 for the 911 center.
And Mike, who does the grant come through?
I'm not quite sure on how to answer that. What can you
It's the
be more
government.
specific on that?
Does the grant go through your company? Is this a company grant that you give, that you supply?
No. This is a federal funded grant.
Okay,
It's similar, Amy, is it not, the cybersecurity grant we got from ordinance?
Yes, my understanding is this is just specific to 911 equipment, but it's very similar to the one that we're working with GST on.
But I think Mr. Brenneman's question is, does the money go to your company or does it come to the commission and then we allocate the funds?
Oh, yeah, sorry. It goes to absolutely, you're 100% correct. So I apologize on that. It goes to the county commission first, and then it's a reimbursement grant, or at least it has been so far, where invoices are submitted back once the project's complete, and then you get it reimbursed. But yeah, the money would go into the county commission pot or the 911 pot, however you guys divvy it up. And then once you submit your invoices for completed projects, you then get a reimbursement. At least that's how it's been working so far.
okay, all right. And Philip, what package are you guys looking at?
The one you have right there. Which one?
There's multiple packages in here.
Should just be.
One total, but I think
It's actually extra items, like line items inside of there. It's one complete package.
Yeah, this is
on
all.
there.
and it's the bottom line is the total here on the back page
141, yes.
Yeah, this is
of
all.
what these will total. These are the breakdown of the cost
Right.
for this one package, and the total is on the back page.
Is this annual renewal incorporated into your budget?
Yes, we already have a maintenance agreement with them that we pay.
Mhm.
And we actually just the other day, I sent Gia the email. We were paying monthly, but we asked Mike to switch it to yearly because it makes it easier
Cheaper.
on everybody.
Cheaper too.
And, Gia's not having to do a monthly. It
Yeah,
just makes it better. for
Okay,
everybody.
so how much is it yearly right now?
37.
37,000. And this is gonna be 141,000.
That's for equipment.
That's for
Okay, now,
I think this figure
One
is
time.
9,000 that's written in right here,
Yeah.
9,590.40. So would that be in addition to the 37?
No, it's actually, I think I just got the new one, didn't I, Mike?
Yes, you should have received that from Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, so what's the new one? Is it still,
They're 37.
so it's gonna remain the same? We're just
That-
looking at upgrading the equipment.
You're looking at the equipment.
Okay,
Like cost.
all right, that makes, okay, you cleared up the mud a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking like, this could be $140,000 a year.
A year.
Okay, all right, I feel better now.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Brenneman, because I was on the same path as you.
Okay, so Mike, do you come in and do this? Are you located in West Virginia?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am in Summers County in Forest Hill, the other side of Hinton.
Okay, so you're in Summer County, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So if we would, hopefully we will get approved for this grant and then we move forward. From the time that we're approved to the time that this is upgraded, what's the length of time?
Well, as mentioned earlier, it really does depend, right? In all honesty, if pen to paper, we tend to tell people 60 to 90 days. And one of the reasons for that is because we're starting to see some slowdowns with equipment, technology in general already. We're starting to see our supplier like Cisco, for example, that provides the network hardware. They're currently tracking about 45 to 60 days out from time of order. So when the equipment comes in, as a company, we'll be there within a week. It's just that, we don't manufacture this company. We're not the guys importing it. We're just buying it from our suppliers, essentially. And that's kind of where that delay, unfortunately, at the moment's coming from. But, to play it safe, I would say from pen on paper, probably 60 days, give or take. I think that's a fair margin on both sides.
Okay, so Mike, at the end of the job, do you give us a certification that we send in to get reimbursed for the grant? Or how does that work?
You get my invoice. You basically get an invoice to pay for it from Kyle, from the accounting side of it. And that invoice and your managed service agreement that, like Philip just mentioned, you guys are already in at the 911 center. You take the managed service agreement and you submit the invoice back to say, hey, this is what has been done. And then it's a reimbursement grant at that point. Then there is an audit task that happens around it where me and Philip, because it's technical, it's not like a monetary audit, it's a technical audit where they say, okay, you've said that you're providing X, Y, and Z or X, Y, and Z, and we want to see that in action. So basically what we do is we take screenshots and submit that as part of the audit and all that good stuff. And we've done that for several counties already this year where they've asked for basically for proof of that. And we have to submit the certificate back to state. So that tends to be how it rolls.
Okay. All right.
How long is it taking the counties to get reimbursed for the outfit, for the expense?
Unfortunately, I can't answer that question because I don't know. I haven't actually asked that question to the counties that have been submitting our invoices.
Probably 3 to 6 months, what typical is.
I'm guessing minimum. It's just a little concerning to me, given what the administration's doing right now.
Yeah.
We
There's a risk.
talked with,
There's a risk.
Well, if I were gonna cut something, I'd cut the whole Department of Homeland Security. It never should have existed to start with.
we actually asked that question, so that there's a contact in Charleston that this money goes through that we actually submit the grant to. And I asked the same question about that, and she said, no, this money's already ready for distribution. Said it's not, shouldn't be affected at all.
Okay,
Well,
so
that's good.
is there an application that we fill out? Has it already been filled out?
Michael filling out.
Yeah, Mike's gonna help us out with that. He'll do the back end of it and we do the front.
Yeah, that's correct. I fill out the technical stuff.
So say that we decide not to do this, what's the current outlook? If we decide not,
Well, if you decide not to, your current hardware obviously goes end of life at the end of this year. And what that means is you stop receiving your patch updates for OSs, for your network and your firewall, because at the moment with them being on support with Cisco, they're actually sending patches to that hardware every few hours against any threats or anything like that. And then once that hardware does kind of get to end of sale, end of life, or end of support with HP, who currently is, it's HP servers at the moment, is that everything on our side then becomes best effort. So if there is an issue with like disk drives or CAD being down for a given number of days, notice I said days, we have to source hardware from third parties versus direct from the manufacturer. That adds quite a bit of risk into the operation there, if that makes sense.
Yes, sir, it does. So what we're looking at is probably a crash at the end of the year if we don't do something.
No, I'm not going to say that, and because we don't ever want that, but it's just risk at the end of the day, and that's kind of why we have, going back to what I said earlier, that 5 to 6 year life cycle is you want to be proactive versus waiting another couple of years and it falls over in a big heap. And I'm sat there saying to Philip and Tonya, hey, I'm looking at 100 days to get a server. What do we do? And so that's what I'm aiming for here, is a lot of proactiveness. And just trying to make sure that Fayette County 911 is never in a position where, we're scrambling to find parts or hardware to keep stuff going.
Well, that's for the people of Fayette County to know that we have risk that could occur. And it doesn't mean it's all, it's all or nothing, but we will take that into consideration.
Okay, thank you.
If we don't get the grant, of course, it would be a bad thing. But I think that we should go ahead and try to apply to get the grant.
I want to hear from Ruth about budget, about whether the budget can.
The 911 fund would.
Yeah, it's their budget.
And it sounds like you're either gonna pay for it with a grant or pay for it out of pocket, so.
Yeah,
We're gonna do both because we're gonna pay for it out of pocket, then you'll be reimbursed.
Well.
He means
reimbursed from
ultimately.
the grant.
Ultimately, it
Yeah.
could go from the,
Ultimately,
and
okay.
if we do not receive the grant, yeah.
So-
Yeah, I don't see the downside.
So, but there's room in the 911 center's
Yes,
budget.
there
That
is.
was my question.
Yes.
Yes.
yes, there is.
And that's, since you're here, your priority, sure. Okay, I
What-
agree with you.
Yeah.
But one other question. What do you think about it?
I'm all for it. Like you said, it's a Rolls Royce network. And what we look at, my main concern up there is our CAD system. We have 11 years worth of records in that.
Mhm.
We do backups now, but now within that, you're talking about redundant backups, the security side of, we can't risk losing
No,
those records. And we have agencies in this county that depend on us to provide that CAD to them, and it's just too important to risk. We want to protect it.
Are the new systems sufficient for everything you want to accomplish there? Like, do the servers have the capability to do everything? Like any other programs that you might want to bring on board in the future? You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
can the OSs
Yeah, that's why
accommodate that?
it's a virtual, setup to where it's on premise, it's there with us. But we can basically create anything we want out of that. So you're given a hardware environment with multiple software environments, and you can just keep adding to it. So,
But your individual machines are gonna have the capacity to do everything you want to do in addition to this, is what I'm asking.
you talk about like desktop.
Mhm.
Yes, yeah. I mean, granted, we do need to update those here soon because they are coming up. And I know that's not covered in that, but like Mike said, that's not anything to do with cybersecurity. So it doesn't cover that.
What kind of is cybersecurity?
Yeah, they won't cover desktop stuff. It's all back end. Which is, we have 6 that we need to replace, but.
Well, so here's what I'd like from you. I'd like you to look into, because if there's a weakness on that end, it's gonna, vulnerability is vulnerability wherever the vulnerability is introduced. So just if you would look into what you need to upgrade those to be compatible with this, and let us know.
Yeah, I mean, what the capabilities there now, that's not an issue. But later on.
I mean, with all the security
Yeah.
upgrades and all that stuff with well, I can tell you, I'm a Mac user and I'll never go back to Windows again, but after a certain number of years, you can't update your OS anymore. There are a lot of things that go wrong, so, even with my favorite, OS, but, so I'm just saying, like, if there's anything that you need hardware wise there, let us know. Cause now would be a good time. I mean, the budget's in decent shape right now.
Yeah.
So, take a look at it and let Rick know.
And your thoughts have great weight.
What is it?
Your thoughts have great weight. You work with it every day.
Oh, yeah, every day.
I mean, you're gonna live with it. Is this something you want? And that's why I asked, what are your thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, Mike, thank you. I'm going to move that we approve the funding for this initiative and apply for the grant reimbursement when that time comes.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion properly moved in second. All those in favor?
Uh,
All right, thank you, Mike. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and commissioners, thank you very much for the time. I'm not a salesperson. I am a techie. So if I've been nervous, I apologize.
Okay, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Hey,
So you want to present us some information on the budget?
did you open the stuff I sent you?
Yes,
No,
I did.
I think it was.
Can I want to throw one thing out there. Tonight, we're going to be at Armstrong Fire Department. We're having a public information meeting concerning wastewater. The meeting will start at 6 o'clock at the fire department in Armstrong.
Is that where it's at, or is it Valley?
That's a fire department on Strong.
And all falls is at Gully Bridge.
Gully Bridge is in all falls.
Is that
Next week. Or no, it's tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow.
Yeah.
We've got next 3
I
nights.
now wish we hadn't done that 3 nights in a row.
Oh, but we get it out of the way.
Okay.
Okay, so
So I sent y'all a summary that basically says the budgets as presented create over $1 million shortfall. So you obviously can't pass them as presented.
Yes, it was light reading.
well, and I also think that as presented, there were more extraordinary requests this time than I have seen in the last 4 years.
They were interesting.
I've seen some interesting over the past 8.
So you had talked about moving deputies from the law levy to general county to eventually get the salaries off the law levy, and we can do that. And that helps the law levy some if you move the capital expenditures over to the law levy.
Right.
And then if you look at the insurance changes, you were talking about funding a different plan with the HRA and fully funding those deductibles. It actually could save you a lot of money.
You were able to fully vet that?
Yeah, yeah.
Sweet.
Jay Quesenberry and Mike come over here Friday and talk about it,
Oh, nice.
but he might,
Yeah,
but
it was-
also reached out to a broker to get us a quote, even with the fees. Like there's fees for him to manage the HRA,
Mhm.
it's still like a few $100,000 short
This came
of
up,
what we,
Jenna Belcher was telling me about what benefits it was gonna bring to NRGRDA. And we called Ruth during our meeting. She was giving me the scoop before our first board meeting as chair, and so we called Ruth and Ruth looked into it, and that's how we got,
and a lot of that
With a lot.
plan, like,
but it was Raleigh County who told Jenna.
so if you read all of the stuff they send out, most of the increase in PEIA is from prescription costs. So I don't know that it helps them, because this still covers prescriptions like preventative medicine, like blood pressure, diabetes, that kind of stuff. The same as it is covered on the other plan. So I don't know that it helps them, but it helps us.
Yeah. Okay.
So John gave me some suggestions on what he would like to see, so. You guys tell me what you would like to see in the budget, and let me figure out the numbers.
You want me to tell you right now?
I don't care if you tell me or email me and I'll.
Okay, yeah.
Whatever y'all wanna do. John gave me his suggestions, Greg. I don't know if you did or not.
Yeah, I've given you secret.
Oh, yeah, he responded to some of them, that's right. He did
But-
respond to some of them.
Well, we appreciate your work, and I tell you, we looked at the changing of the insurance, which we're dropping down to a lesser plan, but we're still providing coverage to our people of the, that we need to do. And it can, so like you said, it could save $250,000 per year off of the, budget or the general fund,
And it's actually less than we paid this year,
and provide
Without
coverage
the
also,
increases.
right?
which seems to me be a efficient way to do things. I like the way you move the deputy. We're still moving deputies off of the levy fund, the law levy fund. And that's important to do. And we're saving money.
I would
Because
like
I'm
you
moving
to
on.
explain, as you have to every year to me, Why it's a good idea to do across the board pay raises.
I mean, you guys can do whatever you want, like I know you say based on evaluations, but,
Merits, well, merit, since
Yeah.
we don't do evaluations,
right,
but, but I'm more of a fan of merit-based pay increases. Or at a minimum, data-based, you know, have we given somebody a raise already in the past year and that's.
yeah, and Gia started putting that stuff together, so
Okay, good.
she's been pulling that information.
That's something I had asked, because I know that that's standard and a lot of people do it, and I know this commission's done a long time, but that was one of the, so I would want to see what she, I mean, I have discussed, to give me a little bit of credit, I have discussed with you people I think should get raises this year. So we've got that going, but I'll get them to you. I'll get them to you. A thing or two.
Before like Friday.
I
right?
will,
Okay.
I will, I will.
So make a note now. Before Friday.
Well, listen, she won't let me not do it, so, it's, you know, I already know, I got the stink eye just now.
So do you wanna look at the Plan C costs for the budget and then see what that does?
Yes,
And then,
That was what I suggested.
right,
I would like to look at that also, the Plan C cost and how is it actually gonna affect and who it affects? The greatest.
and does that,
Good or bad?
does it include how many cruisers a year were we trying to?
So
do?
that's what-
I'm sorry, you know I was out of town until yesterday.
so here is, if you move these capital. These are the capital requests, and
Mhm.
if you move those over to the law levy, it's offsets. It's only that much of a change. And I actually have another spreadsheet I put in there for you to look at to show how your fund would come out, but it would be fine. Speaking of those, vehicle requests, we had another deputy, the vehicle needs a motor and it's 10 grand to replace a motor in $160,000 car, so,
We need to just get another car.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's coming up too.
But if I'm reading this correctly, the proposals you made would save the money required. If the projections are true,
So
we have
is,
to verify the
In
projection.
the law levy.
Yes.
Is-
And
Yeah, that's the project, I mean,
Those are
that-
projected numbers.
those
We
are your
understand.
projected numbers, and that's what, I mean, that's until taxes
Well,
start
that-
coming in, that's what.
the
you're-
grant writer, and we didn't talk about what we'd be willing to pay a grant writer, but a
Well, we
contract
don't
grant
have
writer.
those proposals yet, I think we're fine with that. But also, I had other thoughts on that.
Okay. Okay, and then, is there any money, would there be any money left in the, law enforcement levy to put toward a gun range?
Like this year or next year, probably, yeah.
That would be important.
Yeah, if we could, I mean, even if we could put, I mean, I'd even be open to, taking out a loan if we thought this levy cycle could help.
I
pay
don't
for
think,
it. Okay,
if it's not the Cadillac plan that everybody talked about, I mean, that's not realistic.
it's not,
And the sheriff's department knows that. I think they're working with the Cadillac plant's gone, the one that they
Right.
originally planned. They're looking at what they need, not what they want. And it's wonderful for what they want, but they're gonna go to what they need. This is not a time to be spending money for what you want.
I'd have to have an idea of what it's gonna cost to say, yeah. I mean, you could set aside a certain amount.
is Twig still on there? He's unmuted. Hey, Twig. You there?
Yes, I'm here.
What's the status? I know you were working with Chris Burford. Sheriff told us the other day when we had a meeting that you've been talking to Chris, and I know you've been talking to Brian Good and everybody about the range. Will you give us an update real quick?
Yes, so we met down at the park there last week and looked at the original spot that I believe whatever engineering firm it was that did the work several years back. They had already identified the spot down at the Girl Scout camp that they thought was the best spot off of that property there. So we looked at that. We also talked to some neighbors. The neighbors we're somewhat concerned as well. Then we started talking about another piece of property across the river. I don't know the status of that right now. I'm waiting on Chris to get back with me. He is having a meeting today with Imperial Colliery. So I'm waiting to hear back from him to see exactly what they said about this other piece of property, which may be better suited. And it's already has infrastructure over there. So we may. So to make a long story short, we're still in the process of trying to find a location to present to you guys for for approval or just start the next process.
Okay. All right, so without knowing where we're gonna put it, we definitely wouldn't have an idea of what it's gonna cost yet.
Yeah, it's really complicated because depending upon where it goes, it may cost more or less. The biggest, and I think our biggest hurdle will be dirt work. So we don't know what dirt work's going to cost us until we know where it's going, and that's so we're just kind of waiting on that. And I should hear something today. Of course, if this falls through with Imperial Colliery, we looked at some other property down on the mountain off of Cane Branch. We went down there and looked. I don't think it's going to be feasible. But so if the Imperial Colliery falls through as an option, it looks like we're going to have to present it to be at the Girl Scout camp, is what it appears to be, or at least what it's presented to you guys for discussion on it.
Commissioner Taylor, for your and Commissioner Brenneman's information, I was a part of that. We went to the Sugar Creek and we looked at properties. We've got some other ideas down there. And just full of disclosure in front of the Fayette County citizens that I didn't discuss with you guys what has happened because no decision has been made. We're just in a fact-finding mission. We're just in a look at it. Let's see what's possible. Let's explore our possibilities and let's make the best decision possible. But right now, we're just looking at sites. Ruth, you've been valuable and given us guidance and what we may be affordable, may not be affordable. We kind of have an idea. So when we look at a site and it's just totally unaffordable, we don't even consider it. There's no reason for us to consider it, no reason to bother you or bother Commissioner Brenneman. And just don't have a decision.
Well, I like to know what's going on because I've been driving this train for several years now. So, if there's any progress or like it's brand new news to me that we're looking outside of property we own. So that's something that, I'm glad that, Twig told us that. But I mean, Twig, I feel like we're all committed to trying to get it done. So, just keep Ruth apprised and make sure that, she can guide you on what we need to do if we have to get bids on things or whatever.
Yeah, I have Ruth on speed dial.
We're branching out. We're branching out and looking at it. If you don't mind me, I'm just going with them and I'm interested in it too. I think we all have the same common goal. At the end of the day, we want our sheriff's department to have a place where they can qualify, train their dogs in private to where they can do things they need to do that is required by law and not invade our citizens' privacy.
All right. Anything else? Budget wise?
I just need to know what, I have John's and apparently I have Greg's and they've missed that in the 5,000 RFP emails. So I'll go back and find this.
I support what you've looked at here, what you've sent to us, the light reading.
The light reading.
I support that. I support your light reading. It was very heavy.
It was.
It was clear.
That was sarcasm.
When I say light reading.
Oh, it was sudden.
That's why I didn't open it. You got there at 4 p.m. yesterday. My house was torn apart.
Also, Josh, worked on the fire proposed budgets. And between today and tomorrow, I'm going to tear those apart. And Josh, are you available this evening for me to call you if I have a question? Okay, thank you. I think you know how I am. So I would like that to be on a meeting that we will discuss the fire budgets.
Towards the end of March.
Yeah.
26, because I won't be here in person on the 19th.
Also,
Letter said it was gonna be on the 19th.
What did we say, 19th? Okay, well, I'm gonna be on Zoom, but I won't be here. in
That's
person.
what the letter said. I mean,
Well, we should probably do it when we said we were gonna do it.
And then that way I'll be able to tear apart and we'll look at it in detail. But thank you for putting that together.
I also would like to bring up that on the agenda, we need to put on the agenda how the fire departments will be, the PMs are to be paid. And if they have to come with every PM and us approve it throughout every meeting, every time it happens and wait to the public meeting, or if we just allow you to handle it with approval, from Mr.
I
Davis.
think that's gonna be part of the policy that Michael and I are trying to hash out. We tried to get together, the last time we tried to get together was whether we weren't able to do it. And so I'm back now, and he and I just spoke this morning. We were gonna, after the meeting, figure out when we're gonna be able to meet on the policy, but I was out of town a week, it kind of set it back.
That's acceptable we just wanted on an agenda that we can openly discuss it and get a direction that these firemen and any other with PM, and we know PMs happen, they're gonna be done. And do we have to wait to a commission meeting to approve, because our commission meetings are gonna start spreading out a little bit. And you could go a month and a half without an approval. When Ruth says, yeah, it's good to do, we can go ahead and pay it. So I just wanted to get on the agenda, get our fire departments notice that this will be taken care of on a specific date that you guys will understand.
Well, we're gonna put it on the agenda once Michael and I get the reimbursement policy, because that's gonna be part of the reimbursement policy.
That's fine. And as long as you understand what's the process, what we're thinking. Good, thank you.
No, Ruth gave it to me to pass down to Greg for the agenda request, and I'm like, if he puts one in, it's gonna be
Well, it won't,
dependent on
yeah.
when we get together, but we're planning to get together next week, probably.
I just want them to understand that we're not just,
We're not, in fact, I've dealt with fire every day for the last 2 years, just about. So I know I'm as tired of it as they are.
they are.
And
yes.
we are going to get it resolved.
And
But
that's
I'm
great.
gonna sit here and, I've gotta meet with Michael first. It's not gonna be efficient if we come without a draft policy in place. It's gonna be, the plan is, now that I'm back, cause I do get to occasionally go on vacation. But I was gone a week, came back, and Michael and I are gonna get together, come up with a draft policy, and then we are gonna run it by Ruth and Gia. I've already met with Ruth and Gia once about it, so I got guidance from them, go to Michael, and now Michael and I are gonna hash something out based on that guidance, and then we're gonna go back and run it by the people who are executing it. And then we're gonna talk to the other group of people who are affected by it, and send you something that you can look at, based on the last couple of years and what's been going on and what our staff, how they would like to divide labor. Same thing like with the fire coordinator. One of the questions I asked them is, do you want the fire coordinator to take on some more, financial function? And so we're trying to figure out how to divide labor and how, based on experience, what's most efficient. And that efficiency is definitely where we are shooting, but I need time to meet with him, and we tried to do it one day and it was snowing so badly, I told him to go ahead and head home. And then I left for a week, so I'm back. We're gonna meet next week. Yep. Whether you like it or not. All right, motion to adjourn. Aren't we done?
Well, no, I wanted to say about the Canal Falls meeting and the page meeting.
Okay.
We're also going to have meetings in Golly Bridge for the Canal Falls residents, Canal Falls users of the PSD. Again, it's another public knowledge information meeting. And we will be at the Page. It's called Loop Creek Fire Department on Friday at 6 o'clock to talk to all the Page PSD members that would like to speak with us. We do have an organized agenda. It won't be chaos. Okay, now do your motion.
Sure. Motion to adjourn.
I second.
All right, we're done. Thank you for a great day. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.